So this is the part of the show. So this is. You ready?
Yeah.
Really? Are you ready?
Yeah, I'm ready.
I want to get this done.
Yeah, do it. I'm focused. Hello, I'm Joe.
I'm Mark.
And this is the GAK Show.
So this week at GAK, it's been pretty busy, I'd say. BMC's been a huge thing, which is what's it stand for?
The Brighton Music Conference, which is like a pro audio production DJ event that lasts a few days, lasts like 4 or 5 days, but I think it's there are loads of talks, seminars, there are evening events, and then in the daytime they have at the Brighton Dome in Brighton. We've got like a big display where GAK are down there, loads of other brands, and you can go down and try out all the cool gear from our pro audio shops. So.
And there is some really cool stuff down there. We were down yesterday, and we're going down today a bit later on. Excuse me. And there's what was it? The Steinberg.
The Steinberg interfaces,
yeah.
the new UR series of That's interfaces, really cool. Which have a Neve transformer in them, so they're just a cut above the rest. They're really cool.
And we're going down in a bit, and we're going to meet up with Rachel K. Collier, who's like this Ableton guru.
Yeah, like Ableton and Shaw artist.
Yeah.
If you haven't checked her out, type that into YouTube.
So a super exciting thing that's just been announced this week is the OMEC teleporter.
You nearly didn't get it then. Yeah, the OMEC teleport, I think, has been announced this week. It's actually okay because I was watching Tom Quayle's video on the OMEC teleport earlier, and he called it the transport. So it's not just me. So it's not just you.
I'll let you explain this because I tried earlier and I failed. Okay,
so it's it's a really unusual pedal for Orange to be releasing, which I think is why they've released it under the old OMEC name instead, just to give some separation, because it's kind of bridging the gap of a guitar product and a production product. We got to see this, or I think I saw it, not you.
I haven't seen it.
Yeah, at NAMM, they at the Orange house, they did a little demo of it, and I didn't understand it quite then, and I had to watch a few videos today to work out what it is. So the OMEC Transport is a tiny interface in the chassis of a mini pedal that you can plug your guitar into, run that out into your amp, but crucially you can USB-B out into your laptop with your chosen DAW on, and you can convert all of your guitar. You can use all of the MIDI instruments that you'd have available. So all of a sudden, you can turn your guitar into a piano. You can turn it into a synth. You can turn it into anything that you have access to via your DAW, which is I think it's
cool.
Yeah, I think it's made like doing weird stuff live, like for all the sort of massive pedal boards that we all have and all the money that we spend on things like Helix and stuff like that. You've now got this little OMEC pedal that, depending on what you've got on your laptop, you can turn your guitar into
basically
anything.
You can turn up to a gig with the OMEC pedal, a laptop and an amp.
Yeah.
And you have access to every sound out there, depending on what you have on your laptop.
Yeah, exactly. And you can run that into an amp, crucially. That's what was missing before.
Yeah.
This is...
And it's quite a modern thing, though. Do you think Orange are aiming this at like this kind of new wave like player? Like,
yeah, I guess so. It's such an an unusual product for them. Like, why were Orange researching this? Why have they developed this product?
It doesn't seem like an Orange product, does it?
No, not at all.
I mean, I know a lot of guitarists that would not want to turn up to a gig with a laptop.
Yeah.
You know, your hardcore, old school.
Well, Orange are absolutely not a laptop-y company.
Yeah, that's why it seems weird.
Which may be why they released it under OMEC, but it looks proper cool for sort of a pedal. I don't actually know how much.
It's teeny as well.
Yeah, it's just a micro pedal, so you can use it, you can integrate it with your board, with other things, and then like use it occasionally, because of course you could just have your laptop there set up with some weird synth strings and then switch it in and out with everything else in your setup. I think it's a great product.
You can use your phone and your iPad as well.
You can use your phone and your iPad as well. Thanks, Tom.
So this is the part of the show where I challenge Joe to do something different every week. And this week, I challenged Joe to find a amp that does everything. So I want Effects, I want a great clean sound, a great like overdriven sound. Basically, I want an amp that can cover me in the studio, live, all in my bedroom. I want an amp that can do everything.
Challenge Joe!
So this week I have to find an amplifier that can do everything, which should be pretty straightforward because there are tons of profiling and modelling amps out and about at the moment. I'm just going to have a look and see which ones have the most features. So the Kemper profiling amp is a fantastic option because it pretty much does absolutely everything. But it is very complicated and you do have to program in a lot of things and it is a ton of money. So I think this is a wonderful solution and I absolutely love the Kemper profiling amp, but I don't know if it's the right solution for everyone. So the Fender Mustang GT series is a great solution for an amplifier that does everything. It's got tons of built-in effects, it's got loads of different amp models, and it comes in a range of sizes. You've got the 40, the 100, the 200. That's all really great. So another great all-round solution is the Roland Blues Cube. I really like these amps because they're solid state, so they're super reliable. They sound great, they've got loads of different options on them, but they don't have any built-in effects, so I don't know if it constitutes as an amp that does everything.
So, what did you pick?
So there are loads of things at the moment that are super versatile, that can do everything, but the thing that I wanted to take into consideration as well is price, because I think a lot of the amps that are an ultimate solution price themselves at a point where only musicians at a certain level are going to buy them. And I think there is one product where I think the company themselves didn't realise how good the product was when they released it, and I still think they're too cheap for what they are, for how brilliant they are. I think they could have been double the price and they would have still been great. I am of course talking about the Boss Katana. So this is the Boss Katana 100, which is the amplifier I've chosen for this. They do a 50, they do a head, and the 100 comes available in the 112, which is what I've chosen, and the 212. The reason I've chosen the 112 is because I think it's just a bit more portable, and I think if you want an amp that does everything, then I think that's a part of it. Like, an amp that does everything is also an amp for everyone, and I think a lot of people don't either have the room or the back to cart around a larger amplifier. This is a small 100 watt amplifier with built-in effects, drives, modulations, reverbs, delays, octaves, everything that we know Boss has to offer. And then you've got attenuation. You can run this at like half a watt, 50 watts or 100 watts, so it's suitable in a bedroom, at a small gig, at a big gig. Then you've got things like USB out, so you can edit all the effects on a computer, which I think is super cool. And also there's loads of really good amps on there. Anyway, it's a solid state amp, but you can run it clean, you can run it crunch, lead, brown, so there's all those different channels, so there's something for everyone there. And you can even run acoustic. You can turn this into an acoustic amp. It has an acoustic option, so you can just plug an acoustic straight in and it will be voiced appropriately for that. I just think these amps are incredible for the money.
I agree. I mean, this is probably the one I would have picked as well, because we have our custom.
Yeah, we have the Katana.
Can you grab that? Because I want to just mention this quickly, because we've had a few comments in our videos about this amp and where people can get the red and yellow one. And this is the one I use a lot in videos. And what was it? Did they do this specially for us?
Yeah, they did it specially for the 25th anniversary of GAK. So yeah, they got it retolexed in GAK colours for us.
And that's why it is red and yellow. But is this the 50?
Yeah, that's
the
the
50. And I use this all the time. And as you said, you've got all these like clean, crunch, brown, or like the acoustic setting as well, as you said.
Yeah, exactly. We use that for virtually every guitar recording.
Can do everything.
Yeah, and we have access to every amp that GAK sells. So we could go and get a Kemper. We could go and get a Mesa Boogie or something high end from Fender, but instead, a lot of the time, we're using that. Well, let's give this a listen and see what it sounds like. So this week we've had a massive delivery of Fender Custom Shop guitars, something that we tend to keep pretty well stocked of anyway, and we always have like a wide selection of really cool pieces, but an exceptional amount of gear seems to have turned up.
Which is no bad thing.
No, it is a very good thing. So I thought I'd go and grab something that I thought was pretty exceptional that I saw in the range of bits and bobs that had come in. This Fender Nocaster, this heavy relic Fender Nocaster, which I
lovely.
think might be my favourite thing. Neck like an absolute baseball bat. What a crazy, great example of the Fender Time Machine based custom shop just making perfect versions of old guitars.
So I guess some people like the relic stuff, some people don't. It seems to be a bit of a Marmite.
It's definitely a point of contention, yeah. Some people see relics as being like, why would you want to smash up a perfectly good guitar? Can't you just relic it yourself? And the other side of people are like, man, old guitars just look cool. Like, you don't need to look any deeper into it than that. And for what it's worth, this is a 1951 Nocaster. Do you think there are 1951 Nocasters that are currently in a playable condition? If you really like that guitar, you basically can't play it now, unless you get one of these Fender Time Machine custom shops, in which case you have a perfectly set up, beautiful, new, but like precision relics. People think of relicing, I think, as like just, dragging a guitar around, sanding it down a bit here and there. But what the guys at the Fender Custom Shop have to do is make something look old that still plays like a new guitar. They've got to relic something without any of the degradation that comes with a guitar getting old and used.
And I think Fender especially, they always do it so well. Yeah. And I've watched like documentaries on it, and they take the guitar apart and they study the original kind of stuff, and they just always do it so well.
Yeah, Fender are absolutely the best at relicing guitars there is.
So fun little fact about the Nocaster, which before it became the Telecaster, it was called the Broadcaster.
Yeah.
Back in
1951. So when Leo first designed what is now the Telecaster, it was originally called the Broadcaster, but at the time, Gretsch, and still today actually, Gretsch make a drum kit called the Broadcaster. At the time, Gretsch were a much bigger company than Leo Fender's, little tin pot guitar workshop. So they issued a cease and desist to Fender, and in the interim period before Leo came up with the name Telecaster, he was still building the previously named Broadcaster guitars, but now wasn't printing a name for the model on the headstock.
So it was effectively nameless.
Exactly, as is this model, but it was never called the Nocaster. The Nocaster was just the name on the street for the guitar because it was nameless.
Okay.
So it's only since their reissue in the custom shop that name's been taken on by Fender, and now they call it the Nocaster.
So a very cool thing came in this week, which we saw at NAMM back in January, and it's on the wall up there, and it is the Alesis Vortex Wireless 2 Keytar. Now I'm gonna grab it. You
Okay.
love these, don't you?
I think this is an absolutely ridiculous instrument. You don't make drum kits that you can hang around your neck and play them. I don't know
but this
why keyboards
This is
have
more than just what it looks like. This is an era of epicness. So this is the new Vortex Wireless 2 from Alesis, and it is a guitar. I've done a video on this earlier in the week, and it is I love it. I gotta say.
So
I think
it's not
super cool.
actually a standalone instrument. It's a
No,
controller.
it's a controller. So it comes with a USB dongle, which is right here. So you plug that into your Mac or your PC, and effectively it's a wireless controller. So literally, and it's so easy to use. You just put that in, turn Logic on, and I don't even have to change any settings. It instantly works.
What did you use? Just all the built-in instruments on Logic?
Yeah, so all the built-in Logic instruments, all the synths and stuff, and it literally worked like that. Just plugged it in, and it was away we went.
Cool.
And it's very cool, and it's easy to use. You've got your kind of sustain and your octave buttons and everything you'd expect to find on a normal controller keyboard. You've got these cool RGB lights, and these are all backlit. It's not turned on at the moment. And it's super functional, and it's really easy, and it's really lightweight as well. Like I think some of the old guitars are really heavy.
Right.
And this is like holding a feather.
So another thing that we were looking at this week was delay pedals, because I think people are quite set in their ways with delay pedals and what delays they use. And there's been this movement towards like really high-end, really expensive delay pedals with companies like Strymon, with the 500 series from Boss. Delay pedals are becoming like a big, expensive part of everyone's pedal board. And so I wanted to grab 3 things that I think are affordable and awesome, and also a bit different as well.
So these aren't the common ones, the ones that you'd go to?
No, these are, I think, 3 delay pedals that I think are quite obtainable with regards to price, and really interesting, unique sounding and looking delay pedals.
Okay, so we have the Canyon Electro Harmonix.
Yeah,
I'm going to get these out.
The Electro Harmonix Canyon. Now, the cool thing about the Canyon is it's like a Swiss Army knife of a delay pedal. So it has everything you'd expect, like feedback, delay, and the amount of the effects. But what makes this super cool is you've got all these different types of delay. So it has the stuff you'd expect from the sort of multi-purpose delays, in that you can have like a modulated delay, you can have something that's a bit like a space echo, you can have something that's a bit cleaner and it's a more digital straight up delay. But then it's got these really interesting ones, including shimmer. Now I know shimmer's appearing on everything at the moment since sort of Strymon made that a popular sound. But to see it on a pedal of this price point that does it this well, that tracks this well, I think is rare. And the one that I thought was super cool is they have an octave delay, which what that does is it takes your delay tails and it octaves them up. So you get a on all your tails, which is fantastic. That's something you might, I don't know how you'd do it without this pedal. I just think that's a completely unique sound, and something, if that was on like a Boss DD500 or like a Strymon, I'd be like, oh yeah, that's why this pedal's 300-400 pounds. But I think that's totally wicked.
So what, are these affordable?
Yeah, don't ask me what price they are.
Okay. Okay, next up, the T-Rex Replay Boy.
Okay, so this is just quite cool, and actually I don't think people especially think of T-Rex for delays, but these are incredibly well built, great looking pedals. Now they have opted for this this like horizontal pedal box, which I don't think is very...
It's not, I haven't seen that shape commonly.
Zvex do it, but incidentally Zvex have just stopped. They've just moved all their pedals to the sort of traditional like MXR style box setup, which does make sense because most people, but like pedal boards are getting bigger, so you want to be able to fit in as much as possible. So having it this way round means that it's taking up loads of room, kind of unnecessarily.
Unless they were all that way round.
Well, no.
Why do you think this is the common?
Well, so you can fit
shape?
more on your board.
Yeah, but if they were all like this, you could fit the same amount.
Nah, you'd still have cables.
Fair. Carry on.
But yeah, this is just a great looking, simple delay pedal. It's old school sounding and really versatile, and it has tap tempo on it, which makes it great.
And lastly, you have brought out what looks like a car.
The Dan Electro Dan
50s
Echo.
car. So we want, because this is similar to we looked at the Billionaire,
Yeah.
and they had that kind of retro-y
Well,
Cadillac car vibe.
Okay, so all of Dan Electro stuff has always had that. This looks like the Food series of Dan Electro pedals that they released in the late 90s, but it's much bigger. And crucially, really heavyweight.
I noticed that when I picked it up. It's really, really heavy.
Yeah, it's really well built, and I think people think of Dan Electro as being like cheap, plasticky pedals. I mean, they sound great, but they're sort of cheap and plasticky. This is a really well-built, robust, awesome
And they've
delay
also
pedal.
gone for the different
Well,
foot switch.
that's always been the Dan Electro button. That's
Is it?
always how they've done it. So they're sticking to their roots there. This feels different though, because I think the Dan Electro buttons of old were a little bit ropey. Like a little bit unreliable. This feels very different. It's designed to look the same, but it's very robust. But yeah, this is just a great sounding like Echo style delay. I think they look fantastic. I don't even mind that they're a bit big. I think they're
and the colour? You're a fan of the colour?
Yeah, mauve might be the best colour.
Really?
Yeah, absolutely.
You heard it first.
Yeah.
Right here.
So this is the part of the show where we take an item from stock and we find out if it can survive being destroyed in some way. In the past, we've taken Shure microphones and we've dunked them into pitchers of beer. We've taken Boss tuner pedals and we've run over them in forklift trucks. This is
The Wreckoning.
So this week we thought we'd change it up and we are going to destroy something with the might of gravity.
That's right. So this week we're going to take a ukulele and we're going to drop it from a 5-story building.
So let's find out if it survived. And that is a resounding no. It did not survive. So, I mean, I'll play you'll see the video playing of it, of the impact in the corner.
I had hoped for more, I'll be honest, but I think it was a lot to ask of a
It's a,
£20 ukulele.
I mean, it snapped, right? It did. It just snapped off. And I don't think it's salvageable in any shape or form. Or maybe, I don't know.
No, I don't think so.
So this week we took a look at the new Alesis Vortex Wireless 2 keytar. We also took a look at the orange Omek teleport pedal.
Yeah. We found out whether or not a ukulele would survive being dropped out of a 5-story building, and we discovered that the Boss Katana 100 might be the best all-rounder amp in the world.
If you've enjoyed this video, then please give us a like and leave a comment below. And if you want to see more videos like this, then don't forget to hit the subscribe button, and we shall see you very soon.